Hugh Miller at Dream Guitars, and I'm here today with my buddy Beppe Gambetta.
Ciao a tutti.
Welcome, Beppe.
Yeah,
really great to see you again.
For having me back. You know, this of Dream Guitars is a world where I feel so comfortable because is what also artists try to achieve. Is the world? Your world is the world of the great independent makers, and
yes.
we are also independent makers of music. And so,
no, that's a great. That's a really great correlation, of course. That's why I have such an affinity for players and for builders, you know, because we're all just trying to make music for the world, right?
Yes, absolutely.
That's what it's about. And you and I are special buddies because we're both from New Jersey.
Yes, is an important place from where to come. Actually, some people makes fun of New Jersey. They don't know about.
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, they don't know about our beauty.
Yes,
and also the music tradition that comes from over there. You know, and so I'm really proud.
Yeah, sure. Clearly from the accent, he wasn't born there, but he currently lives in New Jersey.
Yes.
And tell us about where you're from in Italy.
I'm from Genova in Italy. Genova is a seaport town in the north of Italy where important people were born, like this guy Christopher Columbus and Niccolò Paganini. From the music point of view, Niccolò Paganini was born there, and he got great ideas. He was also an ethnomusicologist. You know, classical players sometimes they sort of stole or researched folk themes, folk melodies from the folk players, and so did also Paganini. And if we hear some of his work, there is also Soldier's Joy, you know, among all his beautiful melodies. So Genova is a town where you can get a lot of inspiration because in Genova there was the main school of the songwriters in the 60s, 70s in Italy, and so there is a lot of history in that direction, and partially in the work that my latest short stories, there are stories related to that scene of the singer-songwriters. Particularly Fabrizio De André was the greatest Italian songwriter, and now it's 20 years that we lost him, and his songs are still talking to us really strongly. And so two of the songs of my latest album are from him.
Awesome. And the latest album is short stories. Yes. We've got it right here. Yes. Tell me more about the inspiration for this album.
When you do a new album, the album comes and according to your work. You know, I never decide first a theme and after follow a theme. The theme slowly appears and develops, and the life on the road is still what rules my life. We are 220 days at least on the road, and the stories that you get from the continuous traveling and the continuous meeting with different culture and different people are the one that give you the inspiration. So I decided to let it go and to sing in 4 different languages. For example, I sing in English, German, Italian, and Genovese. That is also an important language. And so the stories of the album go from the songs of Fabrizio that I told you to the story of Tecumseh, who was this Indian chief, and you know, flat pickers, they take fiddle tunes and they bring them on the guitar, and I decided to bring to the guitar this great composition of Peter Ostroushko. And also the other stories are related. Even there is one erotic story in the song, Genovese song, that is called Jaminha, and this is really an important big step in flat picking history, because Norman Blake Tony Rice, no one had erotic songs. The only erotic song subject that you can find maybe is Riding on That New River Train, is about, multiple boyfriends. That's
Right.
the only thing. But But besides this, the stories are from, for example, one story is Randall Collins, who is this gambler who needs to escape to Arkansas, and this comes from Norman Blake. Norman Blake, for me, is one of the great mentors, and I always try to give new life to some of his songs. And other stories are, for example, the story of the Italian folk players who played opera. The folk players of the turn of the previous century, they arranged just for guitar big pieces of opera, and they did it by ear. And so I thought, okay, let's continue to do it, because 100 years are past, but this is a cool tradition, and it's good to remember how it was in the past, and it's intriguing, to bring one opera aria that maybe it was performed by the whole orchestra, the whole choir, all the singers, 200 people, and bring it just on the flat picking guitar. And this is one of the tunes that I would like to play, maybe to give you a flavor.
The title of that one?
The title of this is La Vergine degli Angeli. The Virgin of the Angels, it comes from an important opera of Giuseppe Verdi that is called La Forza del Destino, that premiered in St. Petersburg a long time ago. And this is an idea, and I probably would like also to perform for you one of my compositions, because there is always a space for new composition, and flat picking, I guess, still gives you a lot of choices to compose new music. I'm intrigued in the solo flat picking style, in this idea of not having the need of any other accompanist, but in you alone and a piece of plastic, tell a little bit a new story just with your guitar in your pick. And I composed this tune that is called Notes from the Road, and is a tune that I like because I try with a lick to explain how is the life on the road with this the street, the road that never ends for hours and hours and hours and hours, and I've tried to develop some licks that are telling you how it is.
Great. And you managed to do it in 4 minutes.
Yes, 4 minutes of licks about being on the road.
Right.
Yes, yeah.
Well, I love hearing you talk. I know I've known you for a little while now, and I had the pleasure of hearing you play a number of times. And one of the things that I love about your style, your music really speaks to me, is how many different things I can hear in your playing. I can hear straight up bluegrass. I can hear much more melodic things and open things, and I love your style. And hearing you talk about opera and folk and old music, new music, you can see how your style sort of developed. Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about how your own playing developed from being small till now?
Yeah, actually, it's the big problem of this modern era is to be unique in your music, is to find some spot and some way to sound a little different from any other player. And for me, this I had always this question about how to be able to say something new, something special, and the only answer that an artist on the road can give is to find a new synergy of all of this art that you are exposed to, and put it together in your own way. And so it comes from my traveling, but I'm really intrigued to try to do a globalization of the flat picking. You know, in my playing there are some little trills that comes from Cuba, little trills that come from the Celtic, stolen from Tony McManus,
Sure.
and other aspects that come from the Sardinian style. There are some incredible Mediterranean way of picking dances that developed in the popular music, and some of my playing comes from that Sardinia. And of course, Appalachia is really important. You know, Doc Watson and all of this. So it is natural to develop your own. You know, a sort of view where you you know, do a globalization of picking style. And what many people tells me is that they find sort of this new reading of this traditional way fresh, that tells something, and so that's what I try to do.
That's great. So Beppe, I notice, you know, you're so passionate and you smile all the time talking about music. So to me, that's endearing to me. Like, I really feel that your passion is still there for every gig and just hanging out in the shop playing to see it. You know, where does what keeps that passion alive in you?
Yeah. When you think at the difficulties of this life, you know, and that with technology, with modernity, they don't. The difficulties don't go away, actually. And we find out that in some fields, you know, the things are getting more difficult. But I think there are some secrets. First of all, I think I found a wife, Federica, that lives the same passion with me, and we are two people, you know, pushing through this life devoted to the art, and so you feel really this joy of devoting yourself to the music. And I heard one comment about musicians and joy of playing. They say that the real musician is the one that works hard on a tune, learns it for hours and hours, or performs it for years and years, and feels the same childish astonishment or joy inside joy when he plays this tune that he maybe performed 10,000 times, because there is an inside joy. And when I play, you know, even when I play the Wildwood Flower, I'm really a happy man, even if I probably played it 10,000 times.
Right.
And so I think, if you live for the music, you have this devotion, that this force, this strength to.
May the force be with you.
Grazie.
Yeah. Well, we're all better for the fact that you've got the passion and that you're making such wonderful music for us and expanding guitar. So I'm just really happy you're here, and thanks for coming by.
Yeah, my great pleasure. I think we are doing the same in two fields that are really close. Yes.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to be doing it with you.
Grazie.
Thanks, Beppe.
Grazie.